3, 2, and 1. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's another episode of ARMTALK. I'm your host, Jody Williams, and today I got a special guest. He is the originator of ARMTALK, right? He is the man, the myth, Gary Roberts. Gary, how you doing today?
What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Sorry, I had a little technical issues on my side because we're going live on ARMTV, bro.
That's right. So, and hold on, I'm having technical difficulties as we speak on my end. It's just being stupid, but we're gonna roll this anyway. So, in the words of Gary Roberts, what's going on with your bad self?
Well, shouldn't we set people up, let them know what we're doing?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about it. We are talking about March 27th, Waxahachie, right? We are talking about.
No, not that part yet.
Okay.
Dude, you're on ARMTV. You're talking to my peeps now.
Gentlemen, what's going on with y'all's bad selves?
So you have to say hi to two audiences.
Okay. What's going on, y'all?
So basically, for those of you out there, if you hear me, you're on ARMTALK's Facebook Live, but we are also on ARMTV Live because I want to give Jody people. I want to give you people, bro.
Hey, I'm down, man. I love it. I'm excited for this.
So we're on ARMTV, but you're the host. I'm the guest on your show, but we're also on my channel. It's kind of 3D weird reality. Anyways,
no, I like it. So,
and if so, I'm sorry, Jody.
No,
since we're doing it, all the super chats. If you're in the audience, all the super chats are going to Jody today. So if you super chat the show, it goes to Jody. Okay, so we're trying to make you some money, bro.
Hey, I'm down for it. So let's talk about the elephant in the room for a second. I'm going to assume
there's an elephant.
I'm going to assume that there's no boxing match between you and Barry Bourne.
Did you listen to my show with Travis?
I caught part of it, then I had to get back to work, so I didn't finish the back end of it.
Listen, I don't play like that. No matter what Travis says, I will be in some corner with my gloves on and I'll say, I'm ready for you, Barry. If he don't show up in front of my face, then I'm the champ. So I'm not letting Travis being out. Travis told me from the beginning, I'm not a boxing promoter. I'm not a this. I'm not a that. I have no relationships. So how can Travis cancel something he said that he had nothing to do with to begin with? So he said, this is on you. If you want to do this, this is your thing. So I put my credibility on the line. I said, here's the deal. I'm not a boxer. I understand that. I know I can't fight. I understand that. I recognize there's risks. There's only risks when you're boxing somebody who can box. Barry can't box either. So I am basically proving a point that my man can't box either. And I'm going to be the champ because he's going to use Travis as an excuse to not box. I'll be in the parking lot with my gloves on. And I get it. I think you're part of the people that like, hey, this is arm wrestling. This is a travesty to our sport. I get where you're coming from. I don't plan on making a habit of this, but when you say you're a world champion arm wrestler, well, I can't prove to you that you're not a world champion arm wrestler because I don't even know if I don't know if you don't arm wrestle for 15 years. If you go back to novice, I'm not sure how it works, but in boxing, if you say you're a world championship boxer, well, I can prove you wrong because I'm a less than amateur boxer. And I still believe just because I have more win than him, that he'll look like a fool and I'll get as many jabs in as I can. And that's it. So it's not canceled. It's on. If he don't show up, someone said, is this 6th grade and we're at lunchtime at the back of the school behind the bleachers? Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what this is. And you are all welcome to join me back behind the bleachers where I box Barry Bourne. Bam, 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 bam.
And I just want to know how much juice you're going to have in the tank Is that going to be before the Weirdo Camera Guy Championships or what?
No, it'll be the last thing we do. That'll
okay,
be
cool.
That'll be the last thing we do before we go home, because in the small fractional chance that Barry Bourne with his jabs that look like this were to harm me, obviously I don't want to have a broken nose while I'm filming an arm wrestling event.
You stick and move, stick and move, stick and move. You know?
I mean, I get it. Anyone who says you don't arm wrestle, yes, I know. I mean, you don't box, yes, I know I don't box. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. I'm going to win a boxing match with no skills. I've been doing burpees every day. I'm up to 1,000 burpees.
Bam. Now, about this Weirdo Camera Guy, we started off with what, 7 guys, maybe 8. Now we're down to 6. Okay.
Is it 6? Who else dropped out? I knew Joe dropped out.
I know originally it was going to be Uncle John, but then he can't leave the
border.
Yeah.
Uncle John, right. Yeah.
And then Josh dropped out. So now it's like, it's just Billy Ortegas, yourself, me, Alex Topro, Artem, and then Albert Ding. So it's the 6 of us. And my question is, I mean, it's going from lightest or heaviest to lightest. Right. And I get the format. My only question is, after the first round, now we only got 3 people left, right? So is that like a round? I mean, how does that work out? Is that
what
a
do you mean?
Robin?
What do you mean after the first round?
Well, let's just say if it's
you keep going.
People, well,
I Travis said what the total number of wins. You oh damn! I forgot what he said on the show yesterday. I forgot what he announced. How many wins you need to win, but I think you got to go more than 1 round.
Right. Okay. I just want to make sure. Because, I mean, there's that, and I'm looking forward to it, because if you go heaviest to lightest, that's the format. That's what confused me. Heaviest to lightest, and then we're going to round robin format. So I'm thinking, oh, okay. So if we go Billy Ortegas.
Not round robin format.
What's up, stud?
Travis, I'm on ARMTALK with Jody Williams. And what we're talking about, the Weirdo Camera Guy event. How many wins does first place need to get? What is the win ratio on that?
10 wins.
10 wins is first. What's second?
I think 5 wins, and then it'll go down to the number left each time.
What? 10 wins, not even 2 rounds.
No, it is 2 rounds exactly. 6 people, 2 rounds is 10.
Yeah, but with that little light of people, why not go 3 rounds?
Well, we got to go right and left.
Okay. So it's 2 rounds. To be first, you got to go through 2 rounds. Gotcha. Understood.
Well, not really. You can go through 1 round and then come back and get 1.
Yeah, yeah. That's fine. Yeah. I get it. Okay. All right.
Buddy.
Bye.
Hey, listen.
You're live.
We're going to rank every one of you guys.
Hold on. Can you hear Travis?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk.
We are going to rank every one of you guys before it's over. So we're going to keep going. We're going to find out who the weirdest, weakest camera guy is and the weirdest, strongest, all the way down, 1 to 6.
Okay. Just because we were talking about it, you understand that you can't cancel my Barry Bourne fight. You told me that you told me. Well, see, it can't be officially canceled when you said.
We have no boxing license, no insurance.
When you said, listen, a-hole. When you started this whole thing, you said, I am not affiliated at all with this whatsoever. So how can you cancel something you are officially?
The arm wrestling public will not allow anyone else to say they're in charge, no matter what happens in Waxahachie. They're going to say Travis Bajan was in charge. And the arm wrestling community is starting to rebel.
I hope
understand that you and Barry Bourne are being talked about.
I hope you understand what you're doing. What you're doing is you're saying you're going to have a standoff with me, and I'm letting you know that I don't care what you do to try to cancel it. I will overdo you, and I will stand in the parking lot till midnight. I'll miss my airplane back to prove a point that I will box that day, and nobody's going to stop me. If Barry Bourne doesn't show up in front of me,
going to have you on Queer Street stepping in post holes. I already told you that.
I already told you. I already told you.
Whoa.
You can't cancel
Jody,
something.
talk some sense into
You can't
Gary
cancel.
Roberts.
You can't cancel something that you're not
All right, it's
affiliated
back
with.
on then. Yeah,
Bye bye.
match is back
Bye.
on then.
Bye,
Match is
bitch.
back on.
He's saying the arm wrestling public is up in arms. And listen, man, I just for so I'm hanging out with my sponsor Don Fritchie. I don't know if you remember Don Fritchie. He put up
Oh, yeah.
$60,000. He is the coolest dude in the world. He has the coolest family in the world. I'm over at his house. We're partying. Don Fritchie throws the most amazing parties in this like big log cabin in Kansas City. Anyways, in the conversation comes up that Dusty, his daughter, can wrestle and beat up most dudes. And I was like, nah, I don't believe it. And they're like, they basically said she could beat you up. I said, I don't think so. And so we went out back and we wrestled. And the whole rule was no punching. Fine. It was fun. I was way out of shape, very winded, but that video is on my YouTube channel. It says Gary Roberts versus woman MMA or something. It has 300,000 views. It was just a side little fun thing. This is all that is. Nobody's calling me up saying, Gary, we'd love to sponsor you. However, you wrestled a girl in the sand and you accidentally kneed her in the vagina. And that's embarrassing for the sport of arm wrestling. And so we're going to have to cancel anything we do with you. No, nobody's doing that. It's just a fun video. And that's all this is. It's going to be a fun video of Barry Bourne missing Gary Roberts because he punches slow. I've reviewed the video. It's embarrassing. And I'm just putting a foot in the ground that even with no boxing skills and some burpee training and some air boxing, having him hit a bag, that I'm not saying I'd knock him out or anything, but I'm saying that at the end of the thing, people are going to put Gary's hand in the air and say, yeah. It's embarrassing. Barry Bourne never box again. Gary will never box again, but the audience will say, Barry Bourne, you should never box again. Justin Cyrillic gave Jody $5 super chat. Gary,
Thank you, sir.
Uncle John is right. Fight Travis. No, I'm not fighting Travis. I'm fighting Barry Bourne, and nobody can cancel it. Nobody. You understand that? If Barry don't show up, then I'm winner by default.
Good. So let's get back to the real facts of life right now. The Weirdo Camera Guy Classic. Not the name I chose, but it is what it is. So
what's wrong with the Weirdo Camera Guy?
It's just the Weirdo Camera Guy. I mean, I guess if you're an arm wrestler, you got to be weird at some point, But it just doesn't roll off your tongue. But I'm okay with it, right? Now.
So you heard the origin of that, correct?
Not really. I mean, all the social media guys, right?
No. So Travis hosted an event in Waxahachie, Texas, and I came and I said, I want to come, but I want exclusive footage. And he said, no problem. You got exclusive footage. Meanwhile, 2 days before the event, Albert Ding messaged me asking if he could film. And I saw I got a message, but I didn't officially read it.
Right.
And like Friday night, I kind of read it really late at night. And I was like, I didn't know who Albert Ding was. I didn't know he was social media arm wrestling at all. I thought he was like, for all I know, he was somebody's spouse. I have no idea. So I show up at the event. They basically say, oh, this is Albert Ding. He's working for you. So Travis made it sound like I had a camera guy and Albert Ding was working for me. And so at the event, we hadn't really talked. And I said, hey, what is, if you're Travis says you're working for me. If you're working for me, what are your plans to do with the footage? The reason I asked for exclusivity is because I'm not going to lie. As over the years, I dealt with, okay, this is going to be weird. And I know maybe you don't have time for this. So when I was in the Marine Corps, people were kind of shocked that I was in the Marine Corps, but I was in the Marine Corps, and a lot of Marines hated boot camp because of how you're treated. And so when you graduate boot camp, you're so angry at your drill instructors, you swear to God that you're going to become a drill instructor so you too can beat up on Marines. It's like this weird thing it's like this thing. So anyways, over the years, little camera guy ARMTV, whenever I went to PAL or WAF, I always had people telling me I couldn't film. Now, the smaller organizations like Leonard Denise, they welcomed anyone who was smaller, welcomed you to film their event. Anyone who was big was like, no, we want the rights, yada, yada. Anyways, point being, I was like, one day I'm going to have to do the same thing. If ARMTV explodes, I will have to host events and demand exclusivity. Now, am I demanding exclusivity because I'm getting back at all the people who tried to say that I couldn't film? I don't know, but I think there's some. So Artem and I got in this discussion where he's like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with 10 YouTube channels filming the same match and going out and putting it on their YouTube channels. And I'm like, I don't know if I 100% agree with that. If you're a guy like Alex and you get 100,000 views easily on a video, obviously you don't care if Bob, or let's say Albert Ding, who had 500 subscribers, you wouldn't care if Albert Ding put up the same match because it's like clearly not that big of a deal. But
Right.
anyways, my point is, when we got to the event, Albert Ding, I was like, who are you? What do you want to do with the video? Because like John Brzezinski was there, and I knew John Brzezinski's footage is like valuable, and you don't want it on 10 different channels. Like I put up a masterclass video of, John Brzezinski answering questions that maybe he's never answered in his life. And why would I want 10 YouTube channels having the exact same content? It waters down the specialness of it. Anyways, that's just my feeling. And as I grow, there's a chance I'm going to do something similar. I can't promise you I won't do that. This event is different and everyone can film it, whatever. But in 5 years from now, if I had given away 100 grand, I don't know if I'm going to be like, hey, everyone come and film it. I don't know. But anyways, Albert Ding got offended when I was like, what are you going to do with the footage? He got like kind of mad, and he went to Facebook and he said, I've never been treated like this in the sport of arm wrestling. This is a travesty. I don't know if Gary's a dick or not. Then I came and talked. Then he went, everyone got pissed at me. Anyways, I brought up to Travis, and Travis said, I've hosted tournaments for 30 years, and I have never been so stressed as having to deal with you freaking weirdo camera guys. And that's where the phrase came up. And it all was born out of kind of some drama. But I've since relaxed, and I don't exactly know how I feel yet. But, I don't know. I could come around. Maybe there is absolutely not a difference how many people film a channel. I don't know. Or an arm wrestling match. But there you have it. That's how it came up.
Well, I'm glad this is going to happen, because now you got all the guys, not all, but a big chunk of the guys in the social media. And I wish Joseph Jellick would have not dropped out, because he's another guy, and where, a lot of us go across the country, we're filming events or we're videoing and we're having a talk show, whatever the case may be, we're all going to get together and have an old fashioned, arm wrestling tournament. And I like it. And there's all kind of weights, which makes this unique, like Billy Ortega's sitting at 255. I'm like, okay, by far the heaviest guy in our of all the guys. And then you got Albert Ding at 178, the latter guys, and then everybody else is in between, right?
Yeah.
So what are you weighing right now, Gary?
239. I'm trying to come in at 225 is my hope, but I don't know if I will accomplish that. But it's not like a strong 239. So I'm naturally, if I were like in shape, I'd probably be 210 to 215. Like right. That'd be a strong Gary Roberts.
Gotcha.
To get 198, I've got to be a thin, weaker Gary Roberts. Like if I was really working out and like I'd probably be like 225, but you get up to the 240 range. You're just talking chubba lub.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you hold the weights. Right now, I'm sitting at 230, and I'd rather be 220, but of course, with all
No. I'm saying me, chubba
Oh,
lub.
you.
You're
Okay,
not,
gotcha.
on my frame at 240. It's not. Don't be intimidated if I'm not 225, because at 240 you're just getting some sweets. You're not getting more strength. So don't worry. Don't be intimidated by me, sir.
Hey,
I'm hoping to get one win. I don't know what Billy Berg's status is, but he's my one hope.
He's the one guy you want to get the win on. Nobody else.
Well, I know he's newer, and so I'm hoping he posted that he's a little out of shape. I'm hoping that's true. That's like my one. No offense to Billy, but I mean, like, come on, Alex Top Roll, Artem, yeah, right. Like, I got a shot. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah. Now with that
even
attitude,
Albert
you won't win.
Well, this okay. So check it out. That's why I like this format, because I don't know how much you've listened to me in the past, but I like a little wear and tear on my arm wrestlers.
Right.
I don't truly start loving arm wrestling until I see you break down and have to work a little bit. When I see you just walk through and not be tested, I feel a little like, I wanted more for my money. The same thing, with the boxing match with Barry Bourne. Like, Barry threw 7 punches, I think. Like, no,
right.
Like I paid my $70 front row Madison Square Garden seats. I paid for more punches, Barry.
So let's talk about, you want a lot more wear and tear on your pullers. So go back to the Ruler of the Nation in New York, and Paul Lynn was just walking through everybody. So do we expect to see like that, or every time you have one of these events, it's going to be tweaked a little bit?
Okay, so here's the thing. When it's new, when it's fresh, you're going to see a big separation of the talent. But when I start Texas Arm Wrestling says he's not that out of shape. Don't get your hopes up. I'm not getting my hopes up. It's just like, if there's a pack running, Billy, and that's the pack that we're in, I'm thinking I might be in last place. And so you're my first goal. You're the second to last place in running a marathon, let's say. So I'm going after you first. Now, if Albert Ding, if all of those guys getting a bunch of wars, Jody, they're getting big mega wars, and they come around to me, I'll start to be Michael Todd. I'll start to smell a little blood. If I smell a tired, fatigued arm wrestler, then I'll start to get hungry. That's when I'll start to get a little more motivated, Jody. But back to my point is, when I start putting out, if you line up, okay, so let's say RVJ, Ryan Bowen. Okay, that's the big match. Now let's take RVJ, Ryan Bowen, Todd Hutchings, Paul Lynn, and 8 other, not in that elite, but just a step outside. You give me what Travis says, your Sweet 16. And you take that Sweet 16 and we put that list out there. And then I say, Jody's, let's say the Weirdo camera guys are lined up and we're interviewing you guys. And I say, okay, here's your Sweet 16 list. It's a double elimination tournament. Give me your top 4 guys, or your top 2 guys. Let's say top 3 guys. In what order? I bet most of you guys would pick, be able to pick the top 4 pretty accurately. Let's say you're 80% accurate. Let's say we interview 6 camera guys. They're 80% accurate on their top 4. Then we say, now make sure 1 through 4, what's the order? I say maybe you're 50% accurate on the order of the top 4 with that Sweet 16. Now, I, as a content producer, I say, I'm going to put all you mofos in the ROTN middleweight class, heaviest to lightest, and the heaviest guys got to go to war with the second heaviest, and then immediately go to war with the third heaviest immediately. And I'm putting my money that the content. So now let's say we could do two tournaments. On Friday, we host the double elimination tournament with that Sweet 16. We film it. We put it on the YouTube. How much clicks does it get? I don't know what the clicks are. Maybe it gets good clicks. I'm just betting. I'm putting all my eggs as a content producer that if I put that same Sweet 16 group into my format, that those camera guys may not necessarily get the top. They were 80% correct. I'm guessing you're 50% correct on the top 4 with my format. And then I bet it drops even further on the order of the top 4. So one, I don't think you can guess the outcome as easily as a double elimination. And 2, I'm betting it gets more clicks. That's what I'm going to bet. That's my goal. That's why the format. 704 custom calls, $5 super chat to one Jody Williams. Offer your videos to Michael Todd, Devin, RVJ for a fee. Send them the files and let them edit it and post it on their channel with your watermark as match reviews. I believe, sir, that you sent me a Facebook message for this, and I read it last night. I've been meaning to respond. Going back to what I said earlier, no disrespect to everyone in their top channels, but it's my content. I want to keep it on my channel as much as possible.
Right.
As much as possible. If I start, people come on my channel, they say, hey, your content is gold. If it's only on one channel, it maintains more gold status than it becomes on anyone's channel. Plus, I don't think the successful arm wrestlers out there are going to pay money when they could just share the link from my channel. But that being said, also, I'm looking at this like a war. ARMTV's in a war with YouTube. I'm trying to beat those. I'm trying to kill them down. I'm trying to destroy the YouTube algorithm. And I don't know what it takes to do that quite yet. But I'm not going to give my troops to a neighboring country to fight their battles when I need all my troops on the front line fighting the battle. Now, let's say a couple of years from now, we beaten YouTube, we're crushing it, then maybe we can talk about sharing the videos. Oh, but thank you for your super chat, $5. Bam, thank you. Jody, let's ask you a question. Are you, I mean, if I look at Alex, I look at Artem, I look at you, I look at Albert Ding, going back to my other question, I'm not sure that I could rank you guys 1 to 4. I don't know how that falls out. Where do you think you fall in that line?
If I was let's see here, somebody were to ask me to rank us right here, I'd say probably Alex top row be number 1. You know, Artem would be 2, and then you can kind of toss up the rest because no one expects me to win, but I'm gonna be up in there knocking heads. In fact, I'm gonna come out on top. I don't know which hand, but rest assured, I will be coming out on top. End of. That's it. That's how it's gonna go down.
That's what I like to hear. And the thing about the format is, once, let's say somebody comes through and they do just crush everyone, they win, they get to the 10, then they're out. So another thing that I like about this format is in the double elimination format, you get knocked out by losing. In this format, you actually, the first person to get knocked out is the winner. So I think when I start hosting tournaments, when I get the budget that I want and I start hosting tournaments around the country, somebody who's used to paying $20 per class and then goes 2 and out, you know, they're going to pay $20 in my class and get an arm wrestle 4, 5, 6 times and maybe not win a match. So I like that idea that not only does it switch up the format, but it gives us opportunity for somebody to get in more arm wrestling. Joseph NBK in the chat. Joseph, you handled me the last time we arm wrestled. I was really looking forward to trying you again, being a little bit more ready. I'm sad we don't get to pull, sir. Double think that coming on out. We're going to miss you.
Yes, Joseph. I wish you would. I wish you would have never, said, no, I'm not coming. I was kind of bummed out because I was looking forward to having him, partake in this awesome event coming up.
Yeah. So you got Alex first?
I would say Alex would be the favorite to win it. If you were to sit there and ask anybody out there, but I think Alex, he'd be 1, Artem be 2. I'm going to put myself at 3, Billy 4. I don't know. I've never seen Albert pull before, so I'm not sure how he would rank,
I wish I was at my peak 2012 fitness. I'd feel a lot more confident, but I'm trying to get back into it. I've been arm wrestling. I've got my band. I've been doing things, but my biggest concern right now is that I knew, like, back 2012 was my peak. I had 100%. I was not an amazing arm wrestler, but on the amateur to novice spectrum, I was 100% confident in what my arm could do. Like, right. I knew exactly what angles I could put into, what pressures I could put onto it. And I had developed the arm up to the point where I was not afraid of injury, like a break. But now coming back, I don't know yet what I could put it in. So I'm a little more nervous of what angles I can get into. And that's the one thing that is definitely different about me, is not knowing what my arm can do. So like, if I get in there, I don't know, I might take a loss because I'm not 100% sure if I could go somewhere safely.
Right.
So we'll have to do this like on a yearly basis so I can come back when I got my arm where it needs to be. How are you? Jimmy in the chat, is Jimmy coming? Jimmy G, are you coming?
I think so. I think he'll be there.
What? Jimmy G? That's cool. Travis said we can't add any more people. I feel confident against, no disrespect, Jimmy G. I feel like I'd take your hand, bro. Bam.
I'll tell you what, Gary, and I know Alex is the favorite. Even Denise Waddle says she thinks Alex will win the whole thing. I'm assuming left and right, I guess. But I'll say this, though. All it takes is for somebody like Artem or myself to get in the war and slow him down. That'll give you other guys a chance to sneak and maybe sneak a victory in. That's all it takes. Is one long match to wear each other out. And then next thing you know, someone's going to come in and sneak in here and get a quick W. That's all it takes. That's what's awesome about this format, because you're going to have your favorites, but they're going to have to earn it. However, there's no guarantee though either.
Yeah. For anyone out there, again, to go back to this format, you go to a practice and there's always that guy that's maybe he's not winning all the matches at the beginning of practice, but by the end of the practice, he's crushing everyone because he has that endurance factor that I get stronger as I go. And the guys who like dominate 1, 2, 3 matches, it's like, do you dominate? Can you maintain? Like Todd Hutchings is a perfect example. I'm very confident that Todd Hutchings, he maintains like his dominance. Like he can go match. He can drink beer. And he doesn't, he doesn't do this.
Right.
This format's going to expose the guy who dominates and then drops off a cliff. There's going to be those guys. And because most things are double elimination, you get to go sit down, you get a rest, they jump to another class. The thing about this is we don't know Alex, Artem, we don't know who has that thing that Todd has where you can just keep going. I mean, I
Right.
don't know. Maybe you know how you are. How are you practice? Do you find yourself maintaining, or do you find yourself dropping off?
I find myself getting stronger as I go. We just had a big practice on Saturday up in Portland, and we had about 25, 30 guys there maybe, and I was on that table the entire time. If I was pulling or whether I was reffing, I was on the table the entire time. So that's pretty much how I roll.
Then this format is built for Jody. That's exactly that's like a double elimination tournament. The way typical events are run, I don't know about today, but I've witnessed a guy like Jody, who that may be your strength, you may never get to capitalize on that strength because of the stuttering, the stopping, the going, the and then that's like, one, I want my events to be ran in a manner that is easier to produce.
Right.
Like there's no, like when I have to edit videos from a regular tournament and I have, it's like, I used to dream of the day, oh, I'd love going to a AAA event because they would stick one class on one table. And I knew if I was on that table, it was always the 154s.
Right.
And it was like, I love Lemon and Denise, what they've done for the sport. But the thing that, as an editor, a producer, I could never, things got so mixed around on the tables that I got lost as an editor. And so I couldn't tag things properly. Like I can't visually eye you. Like I thought maybe you were 198. When I
first started, I was.
Right. But if I look you up, if I just look at you and some photos,
Yep.
I can't tell you're a 220 guy. I can't like Artem. I can't tell he's a 176 guy or Albert. Like, so as an editor, when people are like, oh man, how come these aren't like in weight classes? It's like, it's always been a thing for me. So at my events, everyone's going to be basically called to the stage and you don't go anywhere. You're like corralled there. And once we start your class, we don't stop that class until there's a champion, and then second and third.
All you need to know is that I'm 220 pounds of chocolate. That's all you need to know. That's all that's important right now. See, you almost put your coffee out. See that? But I will say this though. We got what? If you had to pull, the difference between, it's a slight difference, and I'll say this. Between pulling 5 different guys 5 rounds as a pulling the same guy 5 rounds. Total difference. If you know what I mean by that.
What do you mean? Explain.
Like, okay, let's just say I pull one guy for 5 rounds. You kind of know what you're getting, right? Yeah, whereas I pull 5 different people for 5 rounds, that's a little different. Because now you're dealing with a different hand, a different grip, different setup, different pressures, a little bit different. And that will make or break somebody sometimes.
And when you're arm wrestling somebody, if you have a super match for 5 rounds, they stage a break. Like they give you a rest. In this format, that's what I want people to understand, is that the timing of it is 100% like, if let's say Alex Top Roll is a clear favorite and like he just can steamroll people, the next guy and the next guy and the next guy should be like powwowing, and they'd be like, dude, get on the table as fast as possible. No dicking around. No dicking around. Like, he's going to steamroll all of us if you take your time. So it's sort of like this. You could technically kind of gang up on the leader by getting to the table as fast as possible and trying to wear a mofo out. So there's that. No rest, a different hand. Anyways,
I'm going to say this right now. If Alex is in that position and he beats one of us, and let's just say I'm next, I'm going to apologize in advance because I might knock out one of you guys out to get to that table to make sure he does not get a rest. So I'm going to apologize to you guys in advance because I might fucking hip check you, push you out the way just to get to that table to say, hey,
yeah,
if you're the favorite, which he probably is, I ain't gonna fucking let him get any kind of rest whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I mean, I know I'm like self-promoting here, but at the end of the day, as content producers, I want to share a video to my friends. The double elimination tournament, when you're mixing classes up and letting people rest, and as an editor, it's very difficult to produce something that I can send to Bob and have him be engaged and want to know what happens. But this video, let's say Bob is watching that first match and then he sees you running up to the table. He's like, oh, I have no time to look away. As an editor, I don't even have to edit that. That's story building. Bob's like, why is that guy running to the table? And then someone's like, because they can't give him any rest. And then now at this point, you're like, whoa, oh, how that's going to keep going? I mean, this guy's going to keep rushing the table. Oh, I want to stick around and see if this guy loses. That's my hopes, is that what you just described, where you're hip checking, somebody to get out of the way, is going to be more exciting to watch to a non-arm wrestling viewer. Bam.
It's going to be a controlled version of a king of the table you would have at a practice,
Exactly. Which,
that's all it is.
I've always loved the king of the tables at the practice. My favorite part of practice is, I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to try it. I mean, honestly, as I get more sponsorship money, I'm just going to keep doing this more and more. And I hope no one else tries to do it, because I want to keep it. Walnuts versus Gary, best out of 3. Best out of 50. I get you 50-0, bro. 50-0.
I think all arm wrestling is good arm wrestling to a certain degree. I think I like the tournament format. That's what I grew up under, right? I grew up under that umbrella, double elimination. I love super matches. I like your ROTN because every single event has a sequence we're supposed to gravitate to, where, hey, if you're an endurance guy, then maybe the ROTN is for you. If you're a strategic guy for the long haul, then maybe super matches are suited for you. Yeah. Or if you're that, sucker punching, I got one move, but it's a badass move, maybe a tournament format is, made for that particular person. But everything out there, all the different formats look great, just like different styles makes the sport great. So that's my opinion about this whole thing in a nutshell.
I agree. And I just want to use this as an opportunity. Somebody's asking me, hey, why not super? I'll give you one reason why I don't like super matches as a promoter, is because I don't want to deal with, I like super matches. I think super matches are amazing. But as a promoter, I do not ever want to deal with having the stress of caring about if somebody shows or no shows. With my format, I can put on big money. I put out an invite and I say, come. As a promoter, man, that's what I want. If all my dreams come true, I don't want to have to deal with trying to do what Neil does, match setups. And, once I set up a big match, once I advertise a big match, then it's like, oh my gosh, it's like a lot of pressure for me to what happens if a guy gets hurt or a guy doesn't show, or I got to fill in. As a promoter, I just never want to deal with that. So just so you know, as the audience,
right?
You give me $1 billion budget, I probably will never go the USC route, and have big matches and then a card of 6. I just don't personally. I love the idea that I could just have a format and whoever shows up, they're my stars of the night. I make them a star. Now, let's say I have big money. Whoever wins this ROTN at that event, I'd love, then that's who would be our sponsor. Okay, we're having an ROTN in Florida. You get your hotel airfare plus 500 to come and then try to get that money. So I love the idea of that's how I would begin to disperse sponsorships, is take my winners and then put them into different areas of the country to try to mix it up. That's like a bigger goal.
So hold on for a second. You're saying as a promoter, you don't want super matches. Now, is this your budget? Because if you're the one shilling out the money, I assure you, people are going to show up. Like if you were to sit there and have these two massive, megawatt personalities want to go in the super match, if you're the one shilling out the money, I assure you they're going to show up.
Yeah, I still would rather see them arm wrestle 7 other guys than the one guy 6 rounds. Like when you tell me Jody Williams, I can arm wrestle. How long you been arm wrestling?
This is year number 11 for me.
In 11 years, who would you say is your biggest rival, kind of give and take in your weight class? You've gone back and forth a little bit. You love to arm wrestle, get you fired up.
Well, lately it's been Jacob Abbott. I just can't, and I can't even say a rival because I'm always finishing second or third to him. But it would have been like in my early years, it would have been a Chuck Young. You know Chuck Young, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been.
So let's say Chuck Young, and you say I'm a promoter, and you say to me, like, for instance, let's take the TAL as a perfect example.
Okay.
They had that huge event in Idaho, and Travis is talking to me about the budget when you're paying for every guy to come in, hotel, airfare, setting them up. Oh my gosh, that adds up, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, would I rather promise Jody Williams hotel, airfare, and some guaranteed prize money, and Chuck Young hotel, airfare, and guaranteed prize money, or I take that money and that's pot money, and Jody Williams and Chuck Young have to arm wrestle each other plus 15 other guys? As a promoter, that's just, I think it's a more stress-free environment. That's just where I'm going to hang out. I feel like all the other promoters setting up big super matches, you do you keep doing that. I'm a play over here in this world where I don't really care who shows up. I just want some great arm wrestling matches. I'm of the opinion that we don't have enough arm wrestling stars, right? And I will have no problem if I start hosting quality events that I start saying, my man's the champ, my man's the champ. And to tell all the other leagues, my man's the man. My man's the man. You had your guy arm wrestle 1 dude. My guy's arm wrestled 45 guys in the last month, and he's the man. You want to be the man, you need to come to ROTN. That's how I'll start being. And, it'll be sort of like, I mean, I'll just be frank. I mean, I've said this before, but I'll keep saying it. The reason I started promoting Barry Bourne is because Artem's roommate said I wasn't relevant. He's
Whoa.
like, Gary, he says, Gary Roberts, you're not relevant. And I was like, okay, I'm not relevant. I'm going to take this dude, Barry Bourne, and I'm going to talk about him endlessly to prove you wrong. And it's like, what has happened? Yeah, everyone's talking about Barry Bourne. Devin Laird talked about Barry Bourne. Ryan Bowen did a video about Barry Bourne. Everyone knows who Barry Bourne is. So it was like, to prove a point, don't call me irrelevant, because I'll spite you by going and playing with this Barry Bourne character. But in the end, he has grown on me a little bit. He wants to be my friend, but we can't be friends until after I box him. He wants to be brothers. Barry, we're not brothers until if you don't show up in the parking lot, fine. You're submitting to my kingness, and then we can be bros after that.
And then on top of that, that's the Saturday. Then the next day is the actual ROTN.
Yeah.
So by the time I leave Texas, I'm not going to be able to scratch my back. I'm going to be so torched.
And the thing is, so when you talk about king of the table at a practice in that format, what I love is that we're doing the king of the table, but by weight class.
Yeah.
So yes, king of the table is fun when you mix up from the heaviest guy to the lightest guy, like we're doing with the weirdo camera guy.
Which is basically an overall, right?
Yeah. But I'm excited to see the weight class. Like if you say, okay, we're the 176 and below, I want to see what the results are. And then the next day when we come on a talk show, I'm going to be like, okay, here's your top 3 or 4 guys. I'm going to be like at a double elimination. Would it have been the exact same guys? Like that's the discussion I want to know. Doesn't mix it up a little bit. I'm hoping the endurance guy can come in and break the internet and prove people like, oh snap, this is interesting. Church of Arm Wrestling, did NBK says, I haven't felt Jimmy G, so you may be strong, but I'm gonna do my best. The reason why I'm confident against Jimmy G is because of your weight class. Like I gotta have some confidence in a lighter guy. I mean, against a lighter guy. Come on. Scott Fosen, $4.99 super chat. Best of 5 super match, $200 to the winner. Let's go, Gary. Oh, Scott Fosen is a guy who's like barely out of high school. He's a strong dude, played football. And I was getting his hands just because he didn't know what he was doing. But then I coached him for like 4 seconds and he's like, the next practice, he was owning me. Come on, Sky. I have 100% faith that an 18-year-old strong ass football player can now just own me. I'll stick with Barry Bourne punching him out. But thank you for your $5 super chat, Mr. Scott.
Now, after all that, I mean, how many more do you plan on having these ROTNs? I mean, for the calendar of the year.
So here's the deal. People have been saying like, oh, so we just hit 20,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. Everyone has been supportive. Meanwhile, tune in tonight. Tonight, I'm putting up the Devin Laird Travis Bajent match from 2008 Arm Wars. I have some behind the scenes stuff that I forgot about. I know you think you've seen that match. You haven't seen that match until you've seen it properly with the sound bites. Oh my God, it is to die for, some Devin Laird sound bites. So that's coming out tonight. As soon as I get off here, I'm doing that. But
was that the one they had the Tafford Center?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I know Arm Sports did one on that, but they don't have the behind scenes.
Yeah. Scott has that video up, and you can see what happens in the match, but it becomes something so much more when you hear the banter between Travis and Devin. It's classic. Anyways, because of COVID, I've just been focusing on this old content. I was caring for my father-in-law who's recently passed away, and everyone in the house is kind of concerned, like, hey, don't want to get anyone sick. But Travis was like, events, and I'm like, man, I need the world to come back to normal somewhat before I just go balls to the walls. Right. So Travis has really pushed. He's called me up. He's like, hey, dude, we got, you got to respect the man. He is he's tenacious. And so he's pushed me out into back to again. I was 100% comfortable just dealing with old content, was enjoying it. I have a 1-year-old, no pressure, just putting out fun stuff. But Travis is like, get back into the game. So I'm hesitant to just announce a ton of stuff. One, I don't have a budget quite yet. So I'm putting in Peter Milano in the chat. What's up, bitch? Neil Pickup. Neil, it's so good. It's so good. Oh my God. Yeah, the behind the scenes from the Arm Wars, it's like priceless. This stuff, like I was telling Travis yesterday, I think Travis and Devin Laird should arm wrestle once a year, just to have them shit talk each other, and then there'll be old men arm wrestling. It'll be the longest rivalry in any sport. It'd be so cool. Anyways, I love listening to them
You know what, Gary? I think what makes them click because you need the yin and the yang for it to work. I think because at some point, and we'll just talk about WAL because that's the latest they've been associated with. So I think at some point, you know, Wall had Travis as somewhat the villain, talk trash everywhere. Everybody wanted to see him lose because he was always winning. And then you go to the WAL that we know of, you know, Devin was, you know, cast as the villain. Always get into it with Bart Wood and the refs and all that kind of stuff and bitching and moaning, complaining. You know, everyone wanted to see him lose. The only time he lost was against, you know, Michael Todd. So it was almost like you get those two characters talking trash, it's gold because everybody wants to hear him go back and forth. You know, I love that kind of stuff. When Wall had the little thing where it was the match before Dave Chappie versus Devin Larratt. Dave's not going to talk crap. You know, Devin did, but Dave really was like, yeah, whatever. It didn't work right. You know, I liked it better when it was, you know, Michael Todd and Devin Larratt. Now you take out Michael Todd and put Travis in there and they're shit talking back and forth. That alone will get so many views because everybody wants to see the buildup. Boom. There you go.
I mean, I said yesterday, it's the greatest idea of all time. I swear to God, Devin and Travis, you guys need to just create content together. It'd be like a television series where you just talk shit to each other for the next 50 years. It is gold. Anyways, what I was going to say is Travis called me up. He said, I got prize money for you. I'm willing to try your event. I have $1,000 budget that I'm trying, like right now, what I sponsored I think $300 or $400 to test out the ROTN once locally. Then I sponsored $600 to test it out, the New York one. Luckily, I'm in a situation where my wife is letting me build. I mean, I'm the luckiest dude in the world that, because I'm like, hey man, you're trying to build a business. I got to like put some money back into it. So I was like, can I, you know, I'm able to take the $1,000 in ad revenue and try to like do some shit. So that it's a limited budget at the moment.
Right.
But as the channel grows, and then it's roughly costing. So we're doing the Tuesday night call-in show. Oh, is it Tuesday?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I did not plug Uncle John. Tonight's Tuesday night call-in show. If you guys are out there, you know to come back Tuesday nights. Uncle John is the man. Basically, my computer's about to die. I gotta plug it in. Basically, like the future events that I'm gonna do. One, I need COVID to like chillax before I like announce a full out schedule. Two, I'm a little bit nervous because my $1,000 budget is up and down. It's like 1 month it's 800, 1 month it's 1,200. So I don't know ad revenue wise if I can depend on it yet. But
right.
What I'd like to do is, okay, so because I've been caring for my father-in-law, I haven't really done a ton local. I've been invited to practices. I'm like, hey man, I can't take the chances. My man's getting old, my father-in-law.
Right.
But he passed. So now I can maybe go out into the world a little bit. They are like Chris Chandler, Pablo. There's a bunch of guys here locally that I want to say, okay, we're going to do a little practice ROTN. I've got an $800 budget and get those guys to do a little ROTN. But then I'm going to like call Todd Hutchins and be like, hey, Todd, can you fly into Chicago or come to Chicago to mix it up and say, hey, what kind of content can that produce? Right now, the gold standard, John Brzenk, Devin Larratt footage. That's right. getting the clicks. If John Brzenk and Devin Larratt footage aren't in the show, there's nothing special about ARMTV. I'm just an average dude like everyone else. John Brzenk and Devin Larratt footage from the old days Travis ranks third. You get Travis in there, it pumps it up. But anyways, like I need content. Yes, I have years worth of content, 7 to 10 years worth of content. More John Brzezinski than Devin Larratt. But at the end of the day, I need new content. If I want to go 50 years, I need new content. And I need that content to be viral potential. So that's what these ROTNs are. You know, I need to host $800 practice where I'm giving away a little ROTN money and see if we can get some traction there and start doing that on a monthly basis. If my revenue can go to 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000, then I will start to up the thing. Or if I get a big sponsor, or if Travis keeps sponsoring events, that is like the stepping stones to my plan. So when you say like how many you're going to do, it really depends. Like, can I land a big sponsor? Yay or nay? Can I continue my channel growing? Yay or nay? Mike's Madness, sup fellas, how many weight classes will be there? So because we're starting small, we are doing 3 weight classes, 176, 209, and overs for the ROTNs. My idea is if you give me $20,000 to host the ROTN, here's what I would do. I'd start with, let's say, a base of 5 weight classes, but in like fine print, it'll say max class is 16 guys per class. I don't want the ROTN format going over. I feel like the ROTN format works with a finite number of guys. If you had 100 guys in the class, you can't really pull it off. So what I'd probably do is 2 things: get down to the 16, or we'd say we would add more classes. Let's say more guys show up, then it could, if there's more than 16 guys per class, it might push it to 6 classes. The idea would be, here's the idea. Let's say I'm crushing it, destroying the world, $1 million in revenue, and we could have a tournament to rival the WAF World Championships or the IFA, whatever, I don't know who the important one is, but where we had 1,000 guys show up. The idea would be the ROTN format, 154, 165, 176, 187s, 198s, just like that.
Right.
You could have that, but I want to take it a step further to go like a pyramid where you'd qualify and we'd keep going. At the end of the day, there would still be an overall in my event where the light guys go against the heavy guys, like top 4 move on. So I have this whole plan that if my dreams come true, to just crush it. Right. Anyways, I don't know if I will, but you got a dream, right? You got a dream big?
Oh yeah, I get it. Totally get that, you know, and it's almost like, I like what you guys did with the Texas event, where it was like the true Texas state or whatever.
Yeah.
The name might have been, you know, controversial, but I saw the format, I saw the video, and I thought you guys were going to do more than that, but then they all kind of came to a halt.
Well, so Travis likes the simplicity of a single elimination bracket. Man, it left me wanting. It had some good matches in there, but it just left me. So I told Travis, I was like, if you want me to be involved, I want to do my idea. The single elimination. If you want to do what Travis does, the single elimination was perfect. Travis, his bread and butter was a seminar, and he wants to give people an opportunity to arm wrestle. But the event can last all day. It's got to kind of be quick. So if you do the single elimination, you come in, you do the seminar, you have some fun arm wrestling, boom, boom, over with. My arm wrestling, my event, my arm wrestling is going to be the main event. Sure, you want your seminar to be the main event, but I want content. So I named my arm wrestling event to be the main event. So what better way to have two main events? But then Travis goes above and beyond. He adds the weirdo camera guy for another main event. And then on the side, after it's all done, if you're not satisfied yet, you got to come out into the parking lot where we line up all the cars as a big ring, turn on the headlights. I put on my gloves and I knock a mofo out. There's no way we're going to leave that weekend not thinking we didn't get all our bang for our buck.
Right. So question, who are we looking at as far as refereeing the event?
That's Travis's job. I have no idea. We got to talk to Travis. My kid's about to wake up, so I'm probably on 5 or less minutes.
Got you.
Yeah, I'll have to ask Travis. I'm not 100% sure on the reffing.
And I'm assuming, for those that are watching out there, the format's going to be, thumbs down, close your hands, go. That's the only way Travis does. If he's in charge of reffing or if he's getting somebody to ref, I'm just going to sit there and assume that that's going to be the format.
Yeah. Oh, Peter Milano, if you want content, come watch Tim Bresnan train for Prudnick. Oh, dude, I'm in, bro. I'm in. Can I contact you? So I have a question. I was partially listening. You're cool with the don't move, go business?
I'm just going to assume that's the only way.
Right, but
tournament involving Travis does. It's
yeah.
Close your hands, go. So
right. It seems like you've got to be a really good ref to pull that off. There's room in there for people to take advantage and go early and all that business. That's the one.
Oh yeah.
That's the one thing I'm like, I have a question to ask you.
Okay.
I'm annoyed, and I think I'm annoyed. I'm not 100% sure if I'm annoyed, but I feel like I'm slightly annoyed that I've watched some tournaments where it's so painfully obvious to try to get to the strap, and I feel like I miss the intentional slip is a foul thing. I'm not 100% sure,
Right.
but I feel like if I'm arm wrestling you and I just straight up go like this and I just let go, it's like,
right.
It seems I'm skeptical that that's fair.
That depends on what organization you're talking about, because, I know like in some organizations for it to be a match, you got to pin the guy. Like it has to be a legit pin. Not this, parallel pin or whatever. It has to be a legit pin. If you slip or bail, no matter what, it's a strap. Or others like, no, you kind of bailed at fucking 9 o'clock on the fucking pin pad, where that's a loss. Where in other organizations they may say, no, it's a slip. It's all referee's discretion, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know we've been using the wall rules, but man, if I go forward and the organization continues to grow, I feel like you have to, I don't know. The intentional slipping kind of bugs me to get into the strap. I don't know
Yeah. So we do have a question. What are the rules as far as, are we talking running fouls? Are we talking,
I think Travis is using wall rules, which it has the running foul. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm not, if you're telling me, Gary, predicts, will you be wall rules for the next 50 years? I'm not sure I'm entirely in love with wall rules. So I may want to alter that. One, I'm skeptical wall is coming back.
Okay.
Is anyone else feel that way? Do you guys feel that way?
You know what? My original thought was that, normally April is when wall would start, right? And you haven't heard anything yet. And it's like, okay, no one's put any live feed out. No one's put any kind of promotion video or whatever about that. And then I thought, oh, okay, well, TAL is going to, take place at wall this year. And then, with all the borders being shut and, they can't really go anywhere. They're kind of at a halt right now. And I still think they're doing TL Maxes, but they're just staying in Canada for now. So I'm not sure what's going on. So now would be a prime time for some of these tournaments and or organizations to take hold, whether it be a new, thing like ROTN, whether it be like some of the continuing organizations who've been there since day one and have been steady, and all of a sudden now everybody's going back to them. Whatever the case may be, it's a prime example for us to get back going, because we all want to arm wrestle. That's the bottom line. And I know we had to go through all these hoops last year and partly this year. So
I'm going to put out this. I think Wall, a job on what you were doing before. Your ability to keep the arm wrestlers excited during this pandemic. I know Neil's in the chat. He's not. I'm just giving you an F. Wall, your Facebook page, which kind of RVJ are you into today with the faces? It's like someone spent 5 minutes on these memes. You could have done so much more with your brand to keep it alive. You should have brought me on board 7 years ago or whenever. I'm not. So I had a conversation with Kaplan and they were like, oh, we'd love to have you involved. We could make you like, one of the camera guys. I'm like, dude, I'm a producer. I'm the one who should be telling what the camera guys what to do, not the camera guy. It was kind of offensive. Right. So anyways, I was never involved when it was just like, oh, we'll pay you to be just a dude, like another dude who's never even seen arm wrestling. But your brand, come on, you could have done so much more with it during this downtime. So much more with Zoom. Wall could be hosting what matches were coming up. What show was canceled? I saw Uncle John with Jamie Sheldon. They were talking about, his upcoming match with the bird guy, Angry Bird.
Oh, right? Adam Wilmot.
Yeah. Why in the world is Wall not hosting one-on-one shit talking about when it's coming back? Like, are you kidding me? This is low energy, low cost, high impact stuff. Like, it's just, come on, man. That's why I'm thinking you're not coming back, because you put so little effort into protecting your brand during this downtime.
Here's my thing.
It just seems weird to me.
If Wall's not coming back, then now would be a good time for have all those matches that we all talked and we want to see. Instead of, no, let's wait for our Wall. We need to have that. We need to have,
Jamie,
some kind
keep talking. Jody, keep talking to the audience for 5 seconds.
Okay. We need to have those. Oh, thanks for letting me take over my own show. Thank you. So we need to have those 4 ways, right? We need to have like if you put RVJ, you put Paul in, Daniel Mosier, or maybe Storm Toledo. Put 4 of those guys and have a fatal 4-way. No, it doesn't have to be for a hammer, but put those 4 guys in there. And I know everybody would be talking about it. The problem was the fact that Wall was like, nah, let's just make this actual Wall match. We don't want to sit there and do that. All right. And I totally get that. I really do. But if you guys are not coming back, then why not? Too many question marks going on with that. Right. And, and I'll go ahead and double down, because the latest and greatest was Levon versus Michael Todd. Okay, should the match happen? Damn right. And I thought, my original thought by them dragging their feet, because Kaplan, your top guy is Michael Todd, right? Igor, your top guy is Levon. However, somebody has to lose. And so it was almost like, well, I don't want my guy to lose. Therefore, if my guy loses, I don't want them thinking my organization is horrible, which won't be the case. But I will say this, the one guy in all this who probably should be like, what the fuck, is Dave Chafee, because on the fact that he won his transitional match to get into the top 8. And with that top 8, they had a draw. Well, guess what? Dave Chafee drew Levon, and that's how the whole thing started. And now all of a sudden, they pulled the plug on that for the most part. And it's like, Dave's like, all right, fine, whatever. Now all of a sudden, here's Michael Todd. We didn't have this match. He went over there and, visited Levon and Larry Wills and all that kind of stuff in Dubai. And Dave's just like going, what the fuck? What about me? So I understand if Dave is miffed. I'd be miffed too. But at the same time, yeah, I think Michael does need to have that and go, hey, because Michael wants to know for himself, is he the number one guy? Who's the number one guy right now in the world? Happens to be Levon, or depending on who you talk to, you know?
Devin Larrett says Michael Todd's the number one guy by default.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, that from a wall standpoint, yeah. From a world standpoint, I don't know. That's why we got to have this match. We all want to see it. It's no different than, you know, a UFC fight, right? And you order it going, oh, UFC 328 or whatever the case may be. You build up for it. You're waiting for it. You're licking your chops. You want to see it, right?
Okay, listen. If Travis is the one who said, by very default, the minute Wall okays Michael to arm wrestle a big match somewhere else, that means it's not coming back. I don't know if that is true. But if you are Wall, and that's the biggest match in the world right now, Michael and Levon, why in the world would you not want to be part of that or make sure you had the card? How much respect would that garner your league if you found a way to get Levon or eat some sort of negotiations to have a co-production? I don't know, but you'd think you would want that. I mean,
it all comes down to money. It all comes down to money, you know?
Right. But they spent so much money in the past. Why wouldn't they want more? That's so somebody I said last night, that match could bring in like this whole RVJ Ryan Bowen 50K thing. Like if they can get 50K in sponsorship, I mean, what could Michael and Levon get? I mean,
oh man, you know what? You could put, let's just, if you had a pay-per-view, remember when Igor had those vendettas you had to order, like $25, whatever. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's nothing saying you can do something like that, and then you have a co-main event. You'll have one main event being RBJ Ryan Bowen. You'll have the actual major main event being, you know, Michael Todd and Levon. And I would order that, no problem. I would order that in a heartbeat, you know. But again, you know, we're talking that, and I think Michael Todd made this point a while ago. And someone said, hey, Michael, how come you don't pull, you know, WAF Worlds anymore? And Michael's like, well, and I swore he said something like this. He said that if I end up pulling one of the bigger guys in WAF, why would I do that where I can pull that same guy and make a lot of money? That's what it all comes out to anyway, right?
I don't know. I think this is a longer conversation to be had, and my kid just woke up, man. I gotta go.
It. No problem.
Sorry. Well, hey, Jody, I want to put out an offer to you.
Yes, sir.
So my thoughts are you're going live on Facebook only. You're not tapping into YouTube yet.
Right.
But do you have a following on YouTube? What are your subscribers on YouTube?
Not a lot, because when I first got on YouTube, I had like maybe 30 people. But you know, I would put training videos in some of my matches, but now all that went to Instagram. So I got a bigger following on Instagram than I do YouTube. And I know you and I talked about this, and you know, I mean, even other people ask me, how come you don't do YouTube? I was like, you know, I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be different. You know, like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I can go on Facebook. Everybody hit, oh, Jody's live. Oh, Facebook, ARMTALK, what we got? You know, I just want to be different. But I have thought about going to YouTube. I just got to do it, you know?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'd be willing to throw out to you. And so the audience can hear, we've had 50 to 60 people watching us, you know, with no really advertising. If you would like, I'm only doing stuff during the day when I go live with Travis. The rest of the days are wide open. If you wanted to host your show on this channel with your guests, I would give you that space for nothing. You can use that airtime to promote your YouTube channel to try to get your numbers up. You can go live on Facebook at the exact same time. I would have nothing to do with it. You'd go live. You'd be like, hey, this is Jody Williams. We're live ARMTALK on ARMTV. Bam, 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 bam. That's open to you. If you want to do that, the space is yours to reach that other audience. Those super chats, YouTube takes 30%. You could have the 70% after they take It's up to you. You think about it. You don't have to give an answer now, but they're throwing that out there to help you build your audience, because you have a great voice. You have people that are following, that they're loyal to you. I want you to have a bigger audience, and this space is available if you want it to help. You just plug your stuff. Plug Facebook, follow me there, follow my YouTube, try to get your numbers up. The day you feel like you're ready to go, I think you can go live on your YouTube at the same time. You could go now, the technologies, you can go live on 5 different things at once.
Right.
Anyways, think about it. I will see you in Texas, my friend.
Yes, sir. We'll see you then, brother. Take care.
Thank you. And Neil, pick up. Don't hate me because I said that. I just feel a lot of people are promoting Wall. That's words coming from everyone but Wall. I think it's weird. If I go to the website, let me go right now. Wall Underground. It's like it's an update from July. It seems fishy to me. I'm just think, Wall Underground. Yeah, there's still a letter from July 6th. Anyways, Wall, if you're coming back, do more for the arm wrestlers to let them know you're here. All right, Jody, take care, bro.
All right, man. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Later. Okay.